Welcome back to 5-Minute Road Trips. It's winter and I'm up on the west coast of Scotland, heading out on a wild goose chase. Islay, the Queen of the Hebrides. This whiskey-loving island covers an area of 600 square kilometres and is home to some of the UK's most iconic species. Golden and white-tailed eagles dominate the sky. Otters patrol the crystal clear waters. And in the winter months, Islay is inundated with overwintering Greenland barnacle and white-fronted geese, and they arrive in their thousands. It's time to hit the road. Islay is one of my favourite places in the whole of the UK. I've been quite lucky over the past few years, and I've been up here several times to stay with my friends Ed and Sam at their farm here at Cornebus on the outskirts of Port Ellen. And we're going on a bit of a road trip today around the island. We're going to start on their farm, which is a really special place. It's got this amazing landscape. In the summer, it's home to one of the rarest UK birds, the corncrake. And when the birds arrive early from their migration back from Africa, they'll take advantage of the nettle beds that Ed has been planting here in the fields as early cover. But in the winter, the farm is home to some pretty special winter migrants. Now, each year, about 25 to 30% of the entire Greenland white-fronted goose population comes down to Islay to overwinter. And at the same time, there are about 35,000 barnacle geese that also come down to spend the winter here too. And the farm is a great place to sit in the car and watch them. Actually today, I'm not really gonna have to get out of the car at all. Good thing about Islay, very quiet roads, and most of the wildlife you will see whilst you're sat in the lay-by. So what we got? Some Greenland white-fronted geese down there, and further back is a big flock of barnacle geese. They're currently feeding out on the farm fields here. What is quite cool is that the Greenland white fronts and the barnacle geese will happily feed side by side, and they have different bill morphologies. So the barnacle geese will use their beak to just graze and clip off the top bits of different grasses, whereas the white fronts have a slightly stronger beak and they'll almost be digging down deeper, going through to the tubers, and they'll be feeding on things like cotton grass, whitebeak sedge and bogbeet. Look at them there. Those white fronts really are smart. That nice white band above the top of their orange beak, and those black bands coming around their chest and on their bellies. Leaving the geese to carry on stuffing their faces, it was time to move on from the farm and head to the coast. So I'm just coming up to one of my favourite places on the whole island. This southeastern corner of Islay has a stunning coastline of all these little rocky coves and inlets, and already, I'm just going to pull over into this lay-by here, I can see a load of common seals all hauled out on some of these little rocky skerries. I always get quite excited seeing harbour seals. I've spent a lot of time watching grey seals in Cornwall, but I haven't spent much time around harbour seals. So just to see these guys chilling out, almost a little bit more comical in appearance, a bit more fat and round, with that little round cat-like face. Can't go over the weather, just listen. So calm, so peaceful, just enjoying that winter sun. Magic. Got a few other birds around as well. There's a very fancy grey heron. Oh, there's a curlew. There's a curlew right down here, just tucked down by the side of the road. That is the closest I've ever been to a curlew. That's really special. It's just using that nice curved beak to probe for all sorts of inverts and worms and stuff like that. Oh, that's a great northern diver. It's just come up in front of some of the seals. Wicked. Now that is a road trip highlight for me. Car, road, harbour seals. Heading further up the coast, and with the weather on the turn, I soon stumbled upon a species that I'd never seen before. They are pale-bellied Brent geese. Look at them. They're surfing. And they would have travelled all the way down from Canada and Greenland to overwinter here on Islay, and they just sat there bobbing about, surfing in the waves and feeding on eelgrass. That's really cool. Was not expecting to see them. And then this happened. I've ended up getting out of my car, just left the pale-bellied Brent geese round the corner, and as I was coming round the bend of the road, spotted this great big bird sat on the beach, and it's a juvenile white-tailed eagle. It's just sat there, it's scoffing something that's hidden amongst all that seaweed. What a way to finish my road trip around Islay, the white-tailed eagle. Come on. Well, run over time here a little bit, but I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Ed and Sam from Cornebus Farm for letting me stay and film this episode, to Richard Hollis for joining me behind the scenes on this adventure and for bringing all those snacks, and to Dave Sexton from the RSPB for informing me that this eagle is a 2-year-old male that has travelled over to Islay from mainland Argyll.